Okay, let's dive right in. In this new world of AI-generated answers, just being seen isn't going to cut it anywhere. You have to be mentioned. So today, we're doing an explainer on a brand new and absolutely critical field, generative engine optimization. I want you to stop and really think about this for a second. Is your brand invisible? Because this is the question keeping every marketer and business owner up at night right now. You've put in all the work, but are you actually showing up where it counts today? Because, in this new age of AI, the answer might be yes. Picture it. A potential customer asks an AI for the best product in your space. A nice, clean, conversational answer pops up, and your company's name is just gone. This isn't some sci-fi future. It's the really unsettling new reality of how people are discovering things. And look, this isn't some far-off threat. The data is already showing a massive shift. Gartner is predicting that by 2026, that's right around a corner, search engine volume is going to drop by a whopping 25%. Why? Because people are just turning to AI for direct answers. This isn't just a trend, it's a complete rewiring of how we find information. So, all of this leads us to what we're calling the invisibility problem. And this is a whole new ballgame, folks. We're not talking about just climbing a list of search rankings anymore. We're talking about the very real risk of being completely cut out of the conversation your customers are having. And the data, it totally backs this up. A recent summer study found that 57%, more than half, of search queries are now triggering one of Google's AI overviews. But here's the kicker. A lot of those result in 0 clicks. That means if you're not in that AI-generated box, for all intents and purposes, you're invisible. Okay, so a massive change like this calls for a completely new strategy. We have to pivot from a world that was all about links to a new world that is all about mentions. And this new world, it has a name: Generative Engine Optimization, or GEO. And this timeline just lays it out perfectly, right? In the 2000s, the goal was simple: get into the top 10 blue links. Then, in the 2010s, the Holy Grail became that featured snippet at the top of the page. But today, the ultimate prize is being cited directly inside an AI's answer. So let's be super clear about the difference here. For what, 20 years, we've been obsessed with SEO, search engine optimization, tweaking our content for search engines. Well, now we have to master GEO, which is all about optimizing our content for generative engines, the actual AI models that are writing the answers. And if you're wondering how serious this all is, just follow the money. This really is the new frontier, and the big investors are placing their bets. A company called Profound, which does exactly this, helps brands get cited in AI answers. They just raised a $20 million Series A. That tells you everything you need to know. Okay, so how do we actually win on this new frontier? Well, first, we have to understand how these AI models, how they think. It's a totally different logic, and spoiler alert, it is not about stuffing your page with keywords anymore. Right at the heart of all this is the large language model, or LLM. You can just think of this as the brain behind tools like ChatGPT. It's been trained on just an insane amount of data to understand and generate text that sounds human. Our job now is to figure out how to influence that brain. So what does this AI brain actually care about? Well, it looks for 4 key things. First, is your info part of its original training data or from a trusted partner? That's its foundation. Second, it checks that against the live web to make sure its answers are fresh. Third, it looks for authority and trust signals. Think citations from places people already trust, not just old-school backlinks. And finally, and this one is so important, is the content clear and well-structured? AIs want to give a simple, clean answer, so they absolutely love information that's easy for them to understand and synthesize. All right, now for the part you've been waiting for, the playbook. We've laid out the problem, we've peeked under the hood. Now let's walk through 6 real, actionable steps you can take to get your brand featured in those AI answers. So let's break this down. First, write for questions, not just keywords. That means structuring your content in, say, an FAQ format that directly answers what your customers are asking. 2, build semantic depth. That sounds technical, but it just means covering a topic from every angle, not just repeating one phrase over and over. Become the definitive source. 3, keep your stats fresh. AIs love current data. 4, cite authoritative sources. When you quote McKinsey, you're basically borrowing their credibility. 5, start using the new geo tools that are popping up to see how you're doing. And finally, number 6, and this might be the most important, tell a better story. Remember, these models are trained on human language. A clear, compelling narrative is still the best way to get noticed. And look, this isn't just theory. The results are, well, they're huge. Take a look at Monday.com. After they restructured their content specifically for AI visibility, they saw a 1,570% increase in organic traffic. That's not a typo. These strategies work. So, let's wrap this all up. We're playing by a totally new set of rules for how brands get discovered. Your future customers, they're not just searching anymore. They are actively listening to what AI has to say. And the battlegrounds where you need to be visible have totally shifted. We're talking about Google's AI overviews, yes, but also generative engines like Perplexity that skip Google entirely. And don't forget voice interfaces like Siri and Alexa, which almost always rely on a single AI-generated answer. If you take just one thing away from this whole explainer, please let it be this. The goal has fundamentally changed. We are no longer just optimizing for search engines. From this point forward, we have to be optimizing for language models. And that leaves us with one final and really critical question. As discovery continues to move into these AI-powered conversations, you have to ask yourself, when a customer asks a question, will an AI mention your brand? The work to make sure that answer is yes starts right now.